Well, as an Arabian handicapper, it's very similar to the thoroughbred world. Depending on what day it is, if it's a Monday, we're dealing with the entries, making sure the horses are in the right races, making sure there's no colts in the filly race, no 4-year-olds in the 3-year-old race, and checking that the ratings have been updated after the weekend. Tuesday is declaration day in a lot of countries, at which point you're looking to make sure that the proper horses have been declared in the correct races, the weights are correct. Wednesday, Thursday, you're usually dealing with requests for new form for foreign horses that are coming in from overseas. So you're talking to your counterparts in other countries, exchanging race records, talking about big races that may have happened the previous weekend, adjusting ratings, and getting ready for the weekend's racing. In the last 5 years, racing in the Kingdom and in the Gulf states has just rocketed. Arabian racing has just grown so much in the Kingdom. The number of horses which are now racing, the number of horses which are registered, being bred every year, and the opportunities, because there is literally more races for them to run at. In some cases, there are tracks running in different locations on the same weekend. There's a lot of horses being imported for racing and breeding purposes. So really the sky's the limit right now. It's just become such a pleasure to see, because people are working so hard to develop the industry in the Kingdom. And you can really see it in the eyes of the horsemen. There's so many new owners, so many new sets of colors every month, with people getting involved in partnerships and syndicates, and it's really great to see. It's such a strong industry at a time where globally a lot of other sports are suffering. Having a group race in Taif is brilliant. It's an excellent race course. It offers something that a lot of racehorses can't in the summertime because of the heat. It's great to see the young horses developing and heading towards an international race. The Group 3 is a great place to start a talented 3-year-old, and they will go on to become the Group 2 and Group 1 horses in the coming season in Riyadh. Saudi's become just such an important part of the region's Arabian racing, because they run year-round, because they have very generous prize money, because they have so many races. It gives horsemen throughout the region an opportunity to race more. Sometimes you can't find a race for your horse. Well, now it's become so easy just to change race courses for the weekend and say, hey, we'll go and run this, there's a race in Riyadh, we'll go run there, because I can't find a race where I'm at currently. And that's really great, because when you can shuttle horses around the region, it strengthens the quality of the race, because you start attracting horses from outside, as well as giving your horsemen a chance to travel to other parts of the Gulf states where there's also decent money to be made. Talal Khalidia winning the Kahila this year was huge. It was a really big step. It was an acknowledgement to the Kingdom of the quality of horses they're breeding and racing. It's really important too, and I always suggest this to the trainers, to get out of your own backyard, because if you want to prove the quality of your top class horses, they need to travel, because then you're not saying, well, he won a Group 1, but he only did it at home. If you can get on the road and travel to other Gulf states and go to Europe, win a Group 1 in France, okay, now you can claim the title. I think there's a confidence growing in the Kingdom that their top horses can run elsewhere, and winning the Kahila was a perfect example. Talal Khalidia performed very well, showed that the horse can win outside of the Kingdom, and I hope at some point those type of horses start spending some time in Europe in the summertime on a regular basis. It's not to mean that they're staying training all year, but you can be a little selective, as they do in the thoroughbred world, with where they run. Some horses only run 4 or 5 times a year. One of them might be at home. So you can travel, the money is super in other jurisdictions, and it just stamps your horse as being something special when it can win outside of its natural country. Well, in the Gulf states, the Arabian horse is part of their heritage. It's an important part of heritage. So to see them excel and grow and strengthen, I mean, if you go back 30 years and take a look at the structure of the average Arabian racehorse compared to now, the breeding industry has been very, very successful because they're breeding Arabian horses now which are bigger, stronger, they're able to run further, they're just a better horse. And it'll keep developing, and we're understanding ways now, for example, in Gulf states that don't natural grazing, we can now raise horses that are Group 1 winners and never left the country. So nutrition has been a big part of that, training has been a big part of that, and the Kingdom and the Gulf states are very lucky that they've got such high quality trainers and jockeys riding their horses. The horsemen know their bloodlines. They've developed that attitude where they plan ahead, not just see what's possible for next week. They're starting to pick races out months ahead and train towards them. Well, it's interesting, when you're a handicapper, you have to really stay impartial, so you don't really choose a favorite horse. There are horses you like to see run. I always find the Obeah and Manifa are really great races to watch because you get to see a lot of the champions all together. And it's the same in the other countries, the Sheikh Zayed Jewel Crown, the Kahela, the Emir Sword. They're all brilliant races with fantastic horses. So you might not have one favorite horse when you're a handicapper because you have to stay impartial, but it's really nice to see the big races.